Time to make this work again. If you see the last video on this, I'll let you know that the engine is dead, bottom end's gone, and today I'm literally going to be ripping it out. I'm going to take it out on the subframe. The subframe's held in by 4 bolts and obviously the steering column. I'm going to just drop the engine and box all at the same time, mainly because I'm probably going to end up doing some work on the subframe around this area, some clearance in, and having the subframe off is going to make my life a little easier. And I won't have to take the bonnet off on my own and take it over the top, etc, etc. So it's probably going to be easier being on the lift. I can just raise the ramp up and put the engine on the floor. So that's my plan of action today. I'm not really sure if I'm going to film too much of it. I'm just going to spend some time labeling things up and then getting ready to drop it out from underneath the car. Right, so it's about 4 billion degrees and I do believe this is about to drop out. For a little small engine, there's so much stuff actually on this and the gearbox and everything else. I was actually quite surprised. Being an old car, everything's supposed to have split pins, but you can tell someone's had to go at this on their own, on like a driveway, because everything has like nails in there instead of split pins, so it's quite funny. But hopefully, lift the car, engine stays underneath, and subframe. So let's go. That's the smallest little gearbox I ever did see. It's proper skinny. So yeah, pretty simple. All I've got to do now is strip this down of its good bits. So I'm probably going to take the whole inlet manifold. Well, first I'm going to go and sort of like put them next to each other and compare them, make sure things are exactly the same, and then try and figure out what good bits are going off there onto there. And then hopefully, I think I might jet wash this and potentially give it a lick of paint because it looks dreadful. And this engine bay is actually all painted and nice, so it looks quite good. So yeah, I'm gonna strip this down, get it off the subframe, separate the gearbox. Yeah, just make good of it basically. So, strip down is probably one of the easiest things ever to work on in my entire life. Before I take the rocker cover off, because it's a nice looking thing compared to that one over there. And I thought I'd have a look at, see if anything weird has happened. And I was like, oh, there's a spring there. I mean, it doesn't look chewed up or anything. Not too much anyway. There's a couple of little nicks on it, but it's probably not going to do that. I never heard it running, but that might make a bit of a noise. But looks like there's a spring or something missing off there. If you go on the other side, look, it's literally just one of these. You just take it off and it moves. It's mental. I just dropped that straight in the oil. Oh no. There it be. So that's the same spring as that side, and there should be a spring off the end of there somewhere, I assume. But that is literally all that holds that in. I'll put it back on, I guess. Also, I don't know if I mentioned, but we're going to try and get a new water pump because, yeah, that's rotted off. Sounds a bit rough anyway. And I don't know the condition of that one, so we're going to try and get a water pump for this. Hopefully we'll be able to get one. It's like one of those weird engines where it's probably quite rare to find bits for. So hopefully we can find some bits for it. I've looked and pretty much everything is the same apart from the oil filter housing. It is slightly different on that engine. This one's got 2 bolts and this one's obviously got 3 bolts holding it on. Realistically, it's probably worth not putting that on anyway. It's probably full of iron filings and stuff because, well, the bottom end's supposedly gone. So trying to put that back on there is probably not a good idea unless I fully clean it out. But for now, this is pretty much stripped of all the good bits I need, bar the engine mount and the gearbox. This clutch and flywheel will go on that one to keep things simple, because I think that was a different car. I'm just going to swap all the bits over that we need and not run into any problems. I've taken all the sensors out of this engine, and I'm going to transfer it over to that one, just so we know everything is going to be working and we're not finding problems with this while starting it back up again. I'm just going to do a quick going over, block all these ports, even though I don't know where that has come from, but it's in there. Block these off, get a wire wheel on there, give it a little bit of a birthday. If you look inside there, that's yucky. Eesh. Anyway, so on the other engine, this little breather box just pops straight out. So I'm going to touch this one. You can't see that. It's like completely blocked. It's a lot heavier than the other one. And half of it is in the block still, which is even better. I thought it was metal, but seems it's still in there. So, fun. If you look in this engine, you can see that's a com rod there, so you can see right down the block. So I need to get that out without anything falling inside. Fun old stuff. That's gonna be fun. I really hope I can get that out there without anything falling in there. I'm gonna get that carbon deposit out of there first and then just try to worm it out. So, managed to get it out, managed to squeeze it after trying to turn it for many times, and then chiseled it underneath. So I left the block on its side, which is all well and good until I realised that it was doing itself a nice little oil change for me all the way around me. So, fucking hell, the pain. Yeah, so we have a swimming pool, which is nice. Anyone fancy a swim of oil? So we'll come out the fuel pump, which I took off for about 2 minutes before. Great. That looks a bit better. I'm gonna give it a clean. My phone died yesterday before I got to film the rest of it. I can't remember what I actually last filmed, but engine stripped, engine cleaned. I swapped the flywheel over from that engine to that engine. I just need to figure out the torque setting. I'm going to give that a paint today. I bought some Hammerite smooth, so I'm going to paint the block black and paint the cylinder head silver. And then I can then throw it all together as a whole complete package with all the new bits, or better looking bits over there from this engine. Yeah. This is going to get painted, all right? This engine was supposedly rebuilt, and I think they rebuilt this engine the same way I'm about to rebuild this engine, so same, you know what I mean? Hammerite Smooth does a good job on the old bearings and stuff, doesn't it? Engine rebuild of choice, Hammerite Smooth. Got myself some brushes. Tool Zone, really good brushes. Yeah, just gonna paint this on the block, and when this is dry tomorrow, I'll do the cylinder head in the silver that I've got, so it actually looks like that. Good choice. Look at that. Just line boring the block right now. Just skimming the head right now. Yep, new head gasket in there. I'm actually taking a piss. Like, I'm not rebuilding it, but I'm just putting it up. I'm a big believer in not opening engines that are as old as this and just leaving it be, because you can't let the magic out sometimes. Some engines are best left alone. So, and they're the best engines. Engine that looks like this is probably gonna run forever. So just make it look pretty. And it's doing a bloody good job. It looks so much better with just one coat on it, so sweet. That's painted lovely. So I'm gonna let this dry over the next day or so, and then I can tape it off, paint the cylinder head. I just want to paint this silver because, well, that's traditionally what an engine would look like, but it's actually like cast steel, so it shouldn't really be silver, but it's going to be anyway. But yeah, it's all painted up nicely now. Let that dry and cure, I'll be good to go. That's painted. I gave this like a one coat, and it actually came out a lot darker than I planned. Because if you look at this one, it's like bright silver, and it looks blatantly painted silver. But I put a light coat of silver on the cylinder head, and it actually come out like, it didn't cover it as much, so it's still got like a dark finish to it. As you can see closely, you can probably just see it's got like elements of, well, what's underneath, like the rusty cast looking stuff. And I think it looks about right. It doesn't look like too in your face. If you look there, look, it's like a dark silver sort of thing. So yeah, rebuilt engine. Next job is to let it dry, and then I'll put the new one of these on, this, and then obviously all that on there, and it'll look decent. Paint at the bottom pulley as well. Get that bit of tape off there. Oh, beautiful. I've not painted along that edge there because that's where the starter motor usually earths onto it. So just to eliminate any issues, I've not painted around that area on purpose. In case you're seeing that right now and going, why has he missed a bit? The starter motor loves clean metal, and it doesn't love hammerite. So there's that to think about. My name is Josh, Car Parts Express. There you go. I know you're watching this. Reassembled. There you go. So it's all together now. I've just got to change the plugs. I'm waiting for the plugs. I'm just going to put a set of fresh ones in there. It makes life easy. But yeah, it's all together. Everything's in there. Everything's looks nice. It looks so much better than it did. So it should look pretty decent in the car. Everything's all bolted up now. I just got to torque the flywheel up and then put the gearbox on, and it can go back in the engine bay. And that is the engine all fully bolted up to the gearbox as well. So that is basically ready to go in now. Everything is on there. There was a slight difference between this engine and this engine, and that was these braces. They go here from the block, and then they bolt down to the gearbox where those two bolts are there. Now, obviously you can see the exposed flywheel. I have to put that on when it's in the air. But the block doesn't have the bolt holes in this one. So they must have changed the design, and this is like an early block, and this is a late one. So they must have just, I don't know, maybe had a problem, or it reduces vibration or something. I don't know. But that's the only difference I really found, apart from the oil filter housing, which obviously it's just an oil filter housing, so it doesn't really matter. So I've ordered a new old stock oil filter that fits in here, which I was pleasantly surprised. But yeah, everything else just bolts on. All the sensors I've changed over from that engine to this engine, so we're not messing about with anything that came off this engine. And we know everything else works. And we could just hopefully put it in, start it up, and drive off. In theory, anyway. That's the plan. But I've just got to do some subframe modifications before it can go in now. So this is going to sit here, waiting for its turn to go in. And now the next job for me is start making some templates and figuring some stuff out underneath the car, ready to start bagging it, basically. Which I'll do a video briefly of my explanation of how I figure things out and stuff like that. I'll do that on here, and obviously I'll show you what happens. But yeah, Let me know what you think. It might be a boring video, it might not be. I don't know. You tell me. You might be an RT40 nerd and you know everything about these cars and you're probably loving it. For the rest of us that don't live in Australia, this is new. It's very hard to find any information and parts for this car because the majority of them were in Australia and other parts of the world. Very rare in the UK actually, but my landlord came in the other day and he said, oh, there was a company around the corner that used to sell these when they were brand new. So potentially they made them in the UK, I don't know. But yeah, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching.